Welcome to Silver Dove Films interview show. My name is Michael Gier, and usually I'm the host and I have a guest. Well, today I'm the guest and I have a host. And this is Therese Byrne, a very good friend of mine. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's great to be here with you. I've watched your interview shows, and it's nice to be here with you.
Yes.
And I get to ask the questions.
You get to, I'm a little nervous. But I had some people ask more about my background, who I am, and they thought I should be interviewed. So I thought, who better to interview me than one of my best friends who's known me the longest, a very long time.
A long time. When we were, what toddlers, I think, huh?
Yeah, we were toddlers.
We won't mention how long ago that was.
No, but that'd make us how old now?
Anyway, what was it you wanted to talk about?
Well, you're doing the interview.
Okay.
But like I said, we've known each other for a long time. We actually met at church. And I had a drama ministry way back then. You remember that?
That's right.
Called Paradox.
I had to convince you that I could be in it.
Yeah.
I'd like you.
Well, she auditioned and she was fabulous, but we were friends before that. So I'm like, you can't act. Why would you want to be in my drama ministry? Well, I didn't know she could act. When she auditioned, I was like, where have you been my whole life? Fabulous talent. So we ended up doing all this drama ministry at the church. We went to, remember Edinburgh, Scotland?
Yes. And then we had a
Mexico.
singing telegram business together.
We had a singing telegram business
together. High notes.
Yeah, high notes singing telegrams.
Okay, can I interject? I have to tell a singing telegram story. This is my absolute favorite about Michael, of course.
Is this going to make me look bad?
Well, no, they're going to be able. They're going to be able to. Okay, Michael was doing a singing telegram. He was in full gorilla gear with the fuzzy hat and the fuzzy gloves. He was at a hospital in a very sick woman's room. Did the whole spiel. You know, the song, the dance, the happy birthday, blah 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 blah. Read the card, and she said to him, "That's not me."
That's not me. I'm like, are you sure?
So we had to go into the closet because.
Well, first, I'd already given out the bear and whatever other goodies she was supposed to get. I had to take everything back.
He read the card and it's not you. Oh, well, give me back the teddy bear and the balloons.
Isn't that awful? Yeah. So then I went into the closet to find out what I did.
Off comes the hat and the gloves and the.
Yeah, that's why I went into the closet. I couldn't take my gorilla hat off out in the public. I had to go find a hiding place so I could take it all off and take a quick peek, find out my mistake, find the right room. I went into the right room and did the whole telegram all over again. I mean, it was very embarrassing.
Bloopers I like to share frequently.
One of many.
Yes, one of many.
Yeah, I don't have very many though. She's got more.
Michael, you've been an entertainer pretty much all your life, ever since I've known you. How did you actually get into acting and singing and dancing and all that?
Well, I'm from San Diego originally. And there's something that the city puts on called San Diego Junior Theater, and it's a theater company for young aspiring actors, singers, and dancers. So I got all of my training through San Diego Junior Theater, and it was a fabulous experience. And since then, and from that point on, I made a living as an entertainer for most of my life.
Wow.
Doing mostly musical theater, because I'm also a singer, a dancer, and an actor. So I love musical theater. And that's what I did the most of when I made a living at it all over the world. I did a lot of Broadway shows all over the country. I went to Japan for a year and started in a show. Me and one other American gal were the only two Americans in the show, musical.
Right.
The rest were all Japanese. I actually had to learn Japanese and sing in Japanese for the show.
Oh, wow, that
must have
been interesting.
It was a lot of fun.
And you did a lot of cruise ships?
Well, eventually I got to the point where I had my own show that I booked on cruise ships. And so, I'd bring on, I was a headliner. And so all singing standards, Frank Sinatra tunes, musical theater tunes. It was a lot of fun.
He has a great voice. And you're a pretty good dancer, too.
Actually, I got to dance with Gregory Hines. Remember that? In the movie Tap.
Yes.
And I don't know if anybody, I would assume you remember Gregory Hines. He's one of the best tap dancers of all time. And it was such a privilege to get to go work on that film. I was hired to do that while I was still living in San Diego. I drove up to Los Angeles here and filmed it. And I got to tap dance with the man. And he's a legend. I worked on that film for a week and it was so much fun.
And of course the Fat Boy Slim video that really went viral.
That was probably the most unusual job I've ever had. Fat Boy Slim, the song is called Praise You. And it was a very popular song all over the world. And I was hired to be in the video as an actor/dancer. And it became huge. I mean, huge. The video was on MTV all the time. And we got nominated for 3 MTV Awards.
Exciting.
And because of that, we were asked to go to New York, and we performed live at the MTV Awards in New York, 9/9/99, so back in 1999.
Wow.
And we got to meet all the stars at MTV that year, and I mean, it was exciting to be part of it. But the video itself was very ridiculous, really crazy. And the director was Spike Jonze, who's an Academy Award nominated director, but he directed this music video and all of our weird dancing. And the world thought we were a real group from Torrance, California, but we weren't.
Right.
It was all makeup. It was all make-believe. So that was the acting part that came in when Spike hired us as actors. We auditioned as actors, we auditioned as dancers. He cast 6 of us, and we became world famous, literally all over the world. In New York, we'd walk down the street and people would recognize us. And in England and in Europe, we were told that every time they played the song, people would do all of our weird, crazy dance moves in all their clubs.
You want to do that for us right now? Oh, okay.
It was fun though, but it was a very exciting time because we had press from all over the world who wanted to interview us, and it was the weirdest project I was ever part of, but also the biggest and really the most fun because of the popularity of what it was for whatever reason.
Well, you've had a very fun and diverse career, and I think what a lot of people don't know is you've done a lot of things that unless they really know you well, they don't know about. Like, for example, you had an interview show in Branson, Missouri, and you've really worked with and met a lot of celebrities.
I get excited that I get to meet talented actors, talented singers, talented dancers. Some of them are friends of mine that I've starred in different musical theater productions. They are such talented individuals. Many of my friends on Broadway starring.
Wow.
And it's so exciting for me to say, they're a friend of mine, that amazing talent, and I actually know them. I get very excited about that. So it's been a real pleasure and privilege in my mind to get to meet so many talented people and some of them, many celebrities.
Any particular highlights that you want to mention about that?
When I did the interview show in Branson, Missouri, and first of all, I was in Branson, Missouri because I was with the Lawrence Welk Show.
Yes.
For those of you who may know what the Lawrence Welk Show is, back in its day, it was
big.
The #1 show in the country. If you can think of whatever the biggest hit show is today, that's what the Lawrence Welk Show was then. It was a musical show. The Lawrence Welk Orchestra and all these different singers and dancers, the Lennon sisters, Bobby and Elaine, and all the others. Larry Welk brought them to Branson, Missouri to do a huge show. 2,500 seat theater. We had a 20-piece orchestra, and Larry wanted to bring in some new young stars. Thankfully, I was considered one of the young people, and I was hired as one of the new young stars, and I performed in Branson, Missouri for 5 years. So we were doing shows at night, and so during the day, I was doing this talk show for a TV station and it aired in 3 different states, Missouri, and then other states around us. And my favorite person to interview was Debbie Reynolds.
Oh, boy.
Because obviously she's a legend.
She is. And you got to talk to her and interview her for your show.
I could not wait for her to come into the studio. And when she came in, I said hello. And while the interview is going, I mean, we've got the cameras on us. And the whole time I'm sitting there going, I'm talking to Debbie Reynolds. She's a legend. She's old Hollywood, and she's such a nice lady. But so that was obviously very exciting. And then since then, I've worked with Brooke Shields on her TV show, Suddenly Susan, another gal who's absolutely adorable, very down to earth, very sweet. Let me see, who else have I worked with? Gene Hackman.
I just know you have so many photos on your website, michaelgier.com, of all these celebrities. If you scroll through, you're like, wow, he worked with her and him and him and her. And
it's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled to be able to do what I enjoy doing.
And you've done a lot of films, too, with a faith message. Isn't that right?
Faith Message, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, we did a movie together.
We did.
So, by the way, Teresa's also an actress. She's done a lot of work. She's done some of the Pure Flix films.
The Moment After.
You did Moment After with David White.
Yes.
And Kevin Downs was in that one, who's another wonderful actor. Let's see, what did we do together?
We did The Theory of Everything. David DeVos directed.
Yeah, David DeVos directed it. He also starred in the film. He was fabulous. The Theory of Everything. And then, what was the other film that I did? Time Changer.
Yes.
I did Time Changer, and that was directed by Rich Cristiano, and then Lay It Down, which was a race car film for the younger generation. I played a guy named Pastor Gus, and that was a really fun part and a really good film, and I really enjoyed that part as well. But and then now I'm getting ready to do a film, which we already shot it. It's a Pure Flix film called Revelation Road, Beginning of the End. It's coming out at some point, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
And I've got a small part in that, but it's a part that people won't forget. Something really cool happens that is memorable, so that's nice.
And I'm sure a great message, too.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, you've got your own film coming up. You have gone from, well, I know you're acting in it, but you have gone from in front of the camera to behind the camera. What prompted that move?
Well, I've always been a director and producer. I've done that my entire life, and But it was all theater, of course. I produced a lot of different shows, musicals, and I had the group Paradox that we had, and a lot of things over the years. And so it was very natural for me to want to direct and produce film. And I got into creating our production company, Silver Dove Productions, a few years back, and we were producing commercials and videos for for people's websites, business websites, internet marketing, that type of stuff. And then recently we created a division called Silver Dove Films, which you know a lot about, I hope, because that's why you're watching us today.
That's why you're here.
And Silver Dove Films is the film division where we produce feature films. And we started with our short film Foreclosed, which is what we just finished, and that'll be coming out the end of January 2013. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Now, tell us why you chose that particular topic, foreclosed. I'm assuming that has to do, of course, with foreclosed homes.
Yeah.
And what prompted that?
Well, my wife and I, Terry, we're both in the real estate investing business. I've always been an entrepreneur, and so I've always made a living as an entertainer, thankfully. But on the side, I always had businesses that I'd start. You and I were singing telegrams, many businesses since then as well. Real estate was another one. So we were building houses in 3 different states. And building duplexes, and we owned a lot of real estate all over the country, and we were doing rehabs and all kinds of other things with real estate and doing quite well. And then the real estate market crashed, and so that meant our business crashed. And so, we lost a lot, and that was right after that I decided to create the production company so that I could continue to make, a living doing production while I was also entertaining. But the real estate business, hurt us, and so we kind of went through a lot of what America went through, whether it was job loss, downsizing, or anything with real estate, we went through it. And so we wanted to have a topic that would speak to people. Nobody had done anything about that topic, so we created it. My wife and I, we actually created the story on the way to San Diego.
Really?
We were like, we need to do a film, so what can it be? So she had her notepad out and pen, and we both talked it through and created the story of what we wanted the film to be, and then through a lot with lots of help, I ended up writing it.
So it's really a personal message, which I think is much more powerful because you're writing from a personal perspective.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things in the film are things that you experienced and you wrote about.
We experienced downsizing and losing a lot, but we didn't actually experience the storyline as it's written.
Right.
That's all make believe. But we wrote it doing research. Dateline did a story on a lot of different couples who lost their homes and lost a lot of different things, and we wrote it based on what they talked about and what they went through, and that's what the storyline was really based on. Not exactly us. We just related because we lost a lot, like so many Americans.
And I know you were mentioning earlier that there was your faith in God really kept you going in your time of stress and
good times or bad times.
Good time and bad times.
There was a Bible verse that my pastor made. Well, our pastor, Mike McIntosh.
Yes.
30 years ago, when we were toddlers, made a song.
Good catch.
And so it was 1 Timothy 6:6-8. Godliness with contentment is great gain, is the first verse. And the rest of it goes on. If you've got food and clothing and, those basic necessities, you should be content with that. So there have been times, when I was single, when I was living on somebody's floor in their office, I had nothing. And I was content because, I learned, for whatever reason, that Bible verse stuck with me. And whether I had good times or bad times, especially during bad times, I was like, I'm good, because I saw things as the glass is half full, not half empty. So I took stock and I was like, man, I've got a lot to be thankful for, even though I may not have a lot. I have a lot to be thankful for. So that was one of the main messages that Terry and I wanted to have in our film, Foreclosed. You may be losing your house, you may have lost your car, your job, you're having to downsize. But don't look at what you don't have. Yes. Look at what you do have. That was a really important message that I wanted, the film to say, and so it did. And that's because that's something that I've lived out in my life. Doesn't mean it's easy to go through it, but when you do go through it, it kind of helps to have faith that, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, and I can still have a smile on my face, even though I don't have what I used to have. And I still think in America, no matter how poor you are, we have so much more than the majority of the world.
We do.
We have nothing, in my opinion, to complain about here in America.
I agree. In fact, you know, Michael, I really have noticed that about you all the years that I've known you. No matter what you go through, you always have a great attitude. In fact, I was remembering recently the time that Michael was doing a show where he was singing and dancing and he got injured. And you had that knee injury.
Oh, those Wild Bills.
Yeah, and I remember going to his house and here he was, you know, laid up with this knee injury, and that really was your source of income at that time.
Oh, it was my only source.
And somebody might have been really kind of, oh, woe is me, but you weren't. You had a quick recovery, and as soon as you could, you were up walking with your cane and doing the show with the cane. You actually worked it into your character.
Yeah.
So that's really something to be said for you, that Michael really does practice what he preaches in the movie.
So I'm very excited now with Silver Duff Films to be producing not only the short film that we just produced, but also feature films. And so in 2013, we're hoping to produce 2 different films.
Very good.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. You know, life is good, God is good, and regardless of what's happening, circumstances-wise, it doesn't change the fact that life is good and God is good.
And more good things to come.
Yes, and speaking of more good things to come, I did an episode of NCIS Los Angeles called Paper Soldiers that's going to air January 2013 on CBS. So be sure to look for that. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me come. It was fun.
Yeah, it was. All right, talk to you later.
All right, sounds good.
Bye. See you next time.